Many are hoping for a reunion between Harry and his family. James, good morning.
Yeah, that's right, Gio. Good morning. It is 3 years to the day since Queen Elizabeth died, and London has been marking the anniversary with gun salutes this morning. Prince William and wife Kate paid tribute with an engagement in her honour, as did Prince Harry.
Security for himself and his family, press control that will be coordinated by Buckingham Palace, and finally, for his wife Meghan Markle to be treated as Her Royal Highness, complete with bows and curtsies.
The runaway prince appears to be orchestrating a strategic comeback. Yet whispers from palace corridors suggest the royal family won't be rolling out the welcome mat this festive season. A growing chorus of voices demands action. Calls to strip Meghan Markle and Prince Harry of their Duke and Duchess of Sussex titles have reached a crescendo. Their exploitation of royal status has finally caught up with them, and the consequences are closing in.
Awards ceremony this evening for Well Child, which is a charity he's patron for. What we don't know, though, is whether he'll see any of his family during this trip. We asked, but a representative for the Duke declined to comment, as did Buckingham Palace. They rarely do on personal matters.
Following King Charles's decisive action to remove Prince Andrew and Sarah Ferguson's York titles, Palace insiders suggest this bold move has emboldened Prince William. The future king now has the precedent and the green light to do what he's long desired: strip his brother and sister-in-law of their Sussex titles.
Met with the King's spokesman back in July. That was widely viewed as a step towards possible reconciliation. Harry has said he wants to mend the relationship, especially since his father's cancer diagnosis. A similar dialogue with his brother, though, does seem unlikely, but we will see what if.
Prince William's vision for the monarchy differs fundamentally from his father's sentimental approach. Where King Charles clings to family bonds, William operates like a surgeon removing a malignancy. To him, the monarchy's survival demands ruthless efficiency. Harry and Meghan represent that cancer, a spreading threat to the institution's reputation and integrity. William won't hesitate to excise them before the damage becomes terminal.
It's all coming home.
Harry wanted out, and in 2020 he made his exit. But he didn't leave empty-handed. As he and Meghan Markle crossed the Atlantic to begin their American chapter, he carried one precious cargo: his Duke of Sussex title. That royal designation became their currency, their brand, their gateway to relevance. Now it seems his brother is preparing to reclaim what Harry took when he walked away from duty.
Charles face-to-face for the first time in 19 months. The last time they were seen together was February 2024. And of course, he had that court case and lost it. But after that, talking to the BBC.
Shortly after Charles received his crown, devastating news emerged. The king was battling cancer. While the specific diagnosis remains undisclosed, its impact is undeniable. Treatments have slowed the monarch's pace, forcing him to clear his calendar for rest and recovery. But this creates a critical question. While the king focuses on his health, who's actually running the palace?
If they're at Clarence House, we know the king is also there, so that meeting is due to take place, or perhaps has already started. We wait for word. Daniela Ralph is there for us, and we wait for updates, but no.
Inside sources reveal it's William who seized the reins during his father's illness. And for Prince Harry and his family, this shift in power couldn't be worse news. William in control means no more delays, no more sentimentality, only decisive action.
Article running there: Harry enters Clarence House. After reports he will meet with the king. So we are keeping our eyes on their comings and goings and any word emerging on that meeting. So do stay with us. Plenty more.
King Charles remains, at his core, a father, and that paternal instinct has become his Achilles heel. Sources close to the palace reveal his inner turmoil. He's paralyzed between parental love and royal duty. This internal conflict has caused dangerous delays, allowing Harry and Meghan to inflict further reputational damage on the institution. Charles dreams of reconciliation, of seeing his sons united once more.
Yes, I think what we saw has been lifted because he's.
But William harbors no such sentimentality. The future king is ready to bring down the hammer, to take whatever steps necessary to eliminate threats to the palace's reputation. Since Meghan and Harry departed, they've launched verbal assaults against the palace, the royal family, and the British people themselves. William has had enough. The exclusive Oprah interview immediately following Megxit marked the first of many betrayals that sealed their fate as outcasts and traitors to the crown. But Harry wasn't finished. He published Spare, a tell-all memoir that exposed intimate family secrets, conversations and moments that should have remained forever behind castle walls. Yet for these two, every opportunity transforms into a calculated cash grab, another victim narrative to peddle, another desperate attempt to remain relevant in a world increasingly tired of. A beloved figure has vanished, replaced by someone even his childhood companions no longer recognize. According to sources, Prince William can barely identify his own brother anymore. Since marrying Meghan Markle, Harry has transformed into someone bitter, resentful, and fundamentally altered. Where once stood a charismatic prince beloved worldwide, now stands what many see as a betrayer, a prop in his wife's ambitious schemes, a naive royal who squandered the world's affection for a woman who many believe used him as her ticket to fame. In interviews alongside Meghan, Harry appears diminished, docile and eerily compliant, like an actor who's memorized his script and performs it with mechanical precision. As his wife dominates conversations and takes calculated jabs at the royal family, Harry merely sits, nods obediently, and offers awkward laughter at precisely the right moments, as if responding
to come in or
the catastrophic consequences of allowing royal scandals to fester unchecked. His uncle, Prince Andrew, serves as the cautionary tale William refuses to repeat.
Time in 19 months in London. Samara, the pair shared tea at Clarence's house during a visit which lasted 45 minutes. My question would be, Samara, Harry couldn't even spare any more time for his father? 45 minutes after 1.5 years?
I'll tell you what.
Prince Andrew became entangled in the notorious Jeffrey Epstein case, with a woman accusing him of sexual misconduct, a scandal that shook the monarchy to its foundations. Yet, at the time, Andrew received merely a slap on the wrist. He voluntarily stepped back from royal duties, but continued enjoying every privilege of his Prince and Duke of York titles. His ex-wife, Sarah Ferguson, found herself similarly compromised by the Epstein connection.
Over in LA who are trying to make all these meetings happen. I mean, this Ukraine thing, I hate to say, but I think it's also tied to that. I mean, this is a man who pines on about how unsafe he feels and how he needs the British taxpayer to pay for his security, but is very happy to reveal about his 25 Taliban killings in his book that he...
She publicly claimed to have severed all ties with the notorious sex offender, yet evidence later emerged proving she'd maintained contact with him. These are precisely the situations that infuriate Prince William, non-working royals whose scandals perpetually drag the monarchy's name through the mud. Eventually, justice arrived. Both had their titles revoked, and Prince Andrew was forced to vacate the royal lodge. Yet whispers suggest William remains dissatisfied that their daughters were permitted to retain their royal titles.
Hey, I'm back in with the royal family, public. Don't take me for a fool. But no one's falling for it. I mean, Harry is really, really deep in trouble at the moment, even financially. I mean, we know that Meghan's jam failed to sell out.
King Charles allegedly refused to punish his nieces for their parents' transgressions. He maintains a protective soft spot for these young women, which explains why their titles remain intact. Prince William, however, shares none of his father's sentimentality.
Trying to get back in with the king because he knows he'll never be able to get back in with William. That's never going to happen. So once that door is closed and unfortunately the king passes, I don't think there's any chance of him getting back into the fold.
No, which...
Friends and palace insiders confirm he's actively working to strip titles from all non-working royals. Consider the fundamental injustice. Why should individuals who refuse to shoulder royal responsibilities continue enjoying royal privileges? Every book Sarah Ferguson publishes bears Duchess of York prominently, and that title follows her into every scandal she encounters. The same pattern applies to Meghan.
To himself, and so has Meghan. So clearly Meghan has got Harry exactly where she wants him, and yeah, 45 minutes, gee, especially after, the king had cancer.
Every business deal she secures, every magazine cover she graces, every event she attends carries her Duchess of Sussex designation. That title gets dragged into every controversy and scandal surrounding her, inevitably linking back to the royal family. The future king has decided this exploitation must end.
For the first time in 19 months, meeting up for a private tea at the king's London residence. And, they're not our king.
In Spare, Harry recounts a physical confrontation with William, describing the moment his brother allegedly attacked him. As if that betrayal weren't enough, throughout his book's promotional tour, Harry declared himself completely unapologetic for every revelation. He stands by every word, every exposed secret, every burned bridge.
With my family, there's no point in continuing to fight anymore. As I said, life is precious. I don't know how much longer my father has. He won't speak.
The once beloved prince, arguably the royal family's favorite, has gone rogue. And now the world has turned its back on him completely. Harry now plays his final desperate card, attempting to reconcile with his brother as a last-ditch effort to preserve his and his family's titles. But the trap has already sprung closed.
Because of this security stuff. But it would be nice to reconcile.
Yeah. So good. It's so great. It's so great. And we know how fleeting and precious life can be.
Yeah.
He's crossed too many lines, burned too many bridges. There's no path to redemption anymore. Nobody supports him. Nobody believes his victim narratives anymore. He cannot escape the hole he's dug for himself.
He has a cancer diagnosis that's being treated. And so he doesn't know, Prince Harry doesn't know how long he has with his father. And I'm just happy that they had their tea. I'm happy that they had their tea. I'm thrilled for both of them.
Well, I think obviously the reminder that life is short, it's also sudden. One day you leave your house and you don't come home, So, and with aging parents, whether they're sick or not, the time is...
Prince William isn't interested in mending broken relationships. He's focused on fortifying an institution. He understands this mission requires making brutal decisions, and he's more than prepared to execute them. Performative visits and empty words don't move him. He's ready to eliminate the problem at its source. And reportedly, Harry and Meghan top his removal list. Allegedly, immediately after King Charles finally took decisive action against Andrew and Sarah, panic swept through the Sussex household.
Maybe you've learned stuff that they didn't know. So you have to, it's like surfing. You have to surf and see, because parents are just other human beings.
Doing the best they
can, and they don't always get it right. They just don't. And, who amongst us?
Harry and Meghan, like the rest of the world, recognize the writing on the wall. It's only a matter of time before William completes what his father has been too hesitant to finish. They know it. And so they're frantically scrambling for solutions, grasping at straws, and coming up completely empty.
Oh, is that the goal? They're supposed to do what you say.
Yeah, not so much anymore, but, nobody rolls their eyes at their kids anymore and goes, don't make me come over there. But that's
because I said so is alive and well.
Harry and Meghan have now realized the devastating truth. Nobody stands with them anymore. When they initially declared their departure from the royal family, citing racism and institutional neglect, they triggered enormous controversy. Yet a substantial portion of the public cheered them on, believing their narrative of victimhood and supporting their brave escape. The world watched with anticipation to see how they'd build their independent lives. Now, everyone feels disappointed and exhausted.
To consider. It's another thing for certainly the king to consider whether he wants him back in the royal fold. And for Prince William, well, we know that he doesn't want to have anything to do with his brother at the moment. He's got bigger things on his plate, such as making sure his children are...
Meghan and Harry have constructed their entire identities around being victims of monarchical abuse. Yet paradoxically, they cling desperately to their royal titles, refusing to release the very designations connecting them to the institution they claim destroyed them. They grasp those titles like drowning victims clutching driftwood, even though those titles came from an institution they profess to hate and want nothing to do with. The public has grown weary of their recycled victimhood, and sentiment has decisively shifted to Team William.
As possible, so a bit of a grey area for Harry, I think.
I don't think William will be sending him a...
Royal experts universally agree. The title removal has been inevitable for years, and public opinion overwhelmingly supports it. The decision to strip the Sussex titles might shock the residents of their Montecito mansion, but palace whispers tell a different story. According to insiders, this reckoning has been building for years. With the king's deteriorating health and William assuming greater authority far sooner than anyone anticipated, it's merely a question of when, not if, The axe falls on the Sussexes. Now Harry is making emergency transatlantic flights, desperately trying to prevent the inevitable and supposedly make amends before it's too late, before he and his family lose the one asset, granting them access to rooms and opportunities they'd never otherwise enter.
His famous resemblance to Mummy, which was fading with time, with age. It's pretty cutting.
I don't see it as cutting at all. My brother and I love each other. I love him deeply. There has been a lot of pain.
Once those titles vanish, everything else disappears with them. The media attention, the lucrative deals, the exclusive invitations. It would all evaporate overnight, leaving them with nothing. If Harry loses these titles, what becomes of him? The royal world is the only life he's ever known, the only identity he's ever possessed. Without it, he becomes literally nothing, a former prince reduced to a cautionary tale about squandered privilege. As for Meghan, she'll likely move on to her next opportunity, her next reinvention, but will she take Harry with her into that next chapter? That remains anyone's guess.